Is this the right spot?
Yep, you're in
This
the right
is the
place.
spot, you bet.
So everyone stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call meeting to order. Roll call.
Okay, Mayor Westgard.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wolfman.
Yep.
Reese.
Yes.
And Toms.
Yes.
Moeller.
Yes.
Okay, we have a building permit we need to approve tonight before we start.
Yeah, Ken, please. This is Dave's new neighbor.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second. Go ahead. Second it.
Roll call.
Wolfman.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Toms.
Yes.
Moeller.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Jim, would you like to give us a recap?
Yeah, I believe everything that we've gotten done so far this year, you know, we're still way under our budget. I know there's, Scott's got fire calls for the year. I think we've added a couple since he's gotten that. We're probably pushing 39 maybe now. A couple of bills that probably haven't made it here yet from towings. I had some, one of the pumps on one of the trucks, the 2000, had that serviced. We burned some holes in the tarp, put the dump out. We had the truck parked down there and the tree was on fire, and looked over and pretty soon the ashes were falling off the tree and burned some holes in the tarp, so we ended up replacing that. Other than that, everything's been good. We did finally get our air packs that we ordered, whatever that was, you know, from last year's budget and some of our donation money. So those finally showed up like a week and a half ago. So other than that, everything's gone very well this year. A lot of calls. Did a lot of mutual aid with the fire calls and the cornfields, things like that. Did a lot of field fires. So we're up a little bit on that. But other than that,
Okay.
Perfect.
Good, sir.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
I do want to go through some, we're just going to walk through the packet again. And starting on that second page, the fire department calls by location. And so this will tell you how many calls were in the city versus each of the townships then, and how many were mutual aid. So you can see what Jimmy was talking about the mutual aid calls this year, way up, 17 mutual aid calls. For the purposes.
Don't you have to respond to, or two fire departments have to respond, one who's gonna mutual aid and one to make, right?
yeah, pretty much got a countywide policy now that any structure fire, especially anything rural, will have automatic mutual aid dispatched. We just, you know, we talked about that at the 911 board meeting. We have a chief's meeting once or maybe twice a year with the sheriff every year. And there's a lot of these towns. We're pretty fortunate, Lakeview, that can average about 15 guys call, but some of these towns are, during the day, they're lucky to get 6 guys. I mean, that's enough to get the trucks to the fire, you know, so. We've always, even my feelings on that is, I just assume you called me at 2 o'clock in the morning when you got the call, and if you don't need me, send me home, is call us 20 minutes late, you know. I'd rather get up in the middle of the night and go home and not have to do anything than I would have to show up. And same with us too, you just never know who's gonna be, you know, these guys are volunteers, so if they're not in town, and I got 6 guys, they're gonna structure fire, you can't have too much help, you can't have too much water, especially in the country, so. And it's worked out very well.
It's mandated, though, right?
Yep, it's worked out very well. We, like, you know, we were noti boat for the locker, and I think by the time we were done, there's 4 or 5 departments there.
Really?
Yep. Just because, well, we ran the town out of water, so now we gotta go to the country to get it, so.
And we're tired. We've been down helping them that day.
Yeah, we've been there that day earlier with them, so we welcome anybody that's mutual aid to help us out, and we're glad to help any other town. I mean, we're work pretty good as a team. All of our local towns here work pretty good together. I don't have any problem with any other department. I don't think they have any problems with us. Everybody's grateful that you show up. Manpower is important.
together.
Manpower and water.
Okay, so if you flip to the next page, contributions received, that's just over about the last 10 years. You can see how the contributions have been allocated out between the townships and the city. And then that's really just FYI. So far this current fiscal year, we've received payment from Coon Valley. Any questions, comments on that one? Flip to the next one, you'll see the fire department expenses. So this just shows the expenses that occur every year, and then the current budget for this current year, and then what is requested for next year. The budget request for next year is just the same as what it is for this current year, other than the change in debt service. It's a few $100s in the change in debt service. So if you look at the total and compare it to, say, even just the totals just a few years ago, it's gone up a little bit, but what we've done the past couple of years is to focus more on the station maintenance, and that's been budgeted at $10,000 a year on station maintenance.
Yep.
And this year we spent that plus because we put a roof on, but we'll continue to budget that $10,000 for the next 2 or 3 years then also, because there's some additional work to be done.
And we also upped that a little bit, Scott, I think a few years ago for, just thinking farther ahead, every 10 years we're required to replace bunker gear, things like that. And we, like the last time I purchased it, I tried to spread it out so it didn't come to us in one shot. For the next council, the next trustees, the next chief, whoever, stuff's not getting cheaper. And when you gotta buy 25 sets at a time, pretty good shock to the budget if we gotta purchase it all at one time. So in the future, we'll be able to buy maybe half of it one year and the other half the next or whatever. And same with the air packs. That's why we tried to spread that out at $7,000 or $8,000 a crack. If you don't have to buy them all at once, it's gonna make somebody's life a lot easier when it comes to finding that money, so.
Okay, very good. If you flip to the next page, that just shows a debt schedule on our newest truck. So we did borrow $190,000, and we just now started making payments on that. The first debt payment was due on June 1 of this year. You see the last payment then is made in June of 29. So we've been running about every 10 years on a truck, and then we're issuing some debt in order to finance that. Next page just shows then how the expenses are proposed to be allocated out to each of the entities. In the upper left-hand corner, first of all, there are a couple of things that are outside of the formula, and they're paid for by the city. That's the salary and then the insurance cost. So you see there's that $14,000 that's paid by the city. Which leaves the remaining budget, $60,040. That's the amount that would be apportioned to the service area, or breaks out between the city and the townships. Okay, so how do we get to those numbers? It's 3 things that are considered in this formula to be able to allocate the cost. So valuation, the 3-year average number of fires, and the population. Each one of those has a third of the weight of this formula, so it's X plus Y plus Z divided by 3, and that would give you your percentage of the budget for which each entity would be responsible. So you take a look at that taxable value. The taxable value is the total taxable value for the city or for each one of the townships. And then you look at the percent of the township served in that left column. That'll tell you the percent and then it's just the percent times the total valuation, gives you your taxable value. Same thing then with total three-year average number of fires. You can break that out to know what your percentage of the fire calls is. And then population also. This will be the last year that we're using the 2010 census data, and that would change then next year. But again, so it's just the population of the township times the land mass that's covered. So it didn't go around and say we know that 3 people live at this acreage. You know, it's just taking your total population to, times the percent of the area served. Okay, x plus y plus z divided by 3 gives you your total percentage of that $60,040. And then looking at the bottom section just gives you a year-to-year comparison, so you can see where each entity changes from year to year. And there is a little bit of change, and a lot of that change ends up being from the number of fire calls is the thing that changes the most. So it changes a little bit from year to year. So the proposed FY 21-22 numbers, that would be the amount that each one of the entities would be responsible for. That would be the amount then that we would ask each one of the townships to pay. Any questions or comments on that?
I just want to go back to that insurance for a second. How the insurance is that now, is that tied in with the city's other insurance, or is this a separate policy by itself?
It's all tied into the city's big
Okay,
policy.
so if we negotiate different rates, this is all part of that? Then?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Good. Anything on the finances? Any questions? You want to flip to the next page there, Chief, and then kind of talk through your needs assessment about what you're looking at?
Right, we haven't really changed anything, you know, from last year. Like Scott said earlier, we did the roof this year. It was really needed badly. There's a couple times I walked into the station during a pretty good rainstorm, and there's water running through the ceiling in the north bay, down the electric panel, what have you. So instead of tearing off shingles and showing that we stripped it, put steel on, should be good for a long time that way. We'd still like to finish, we sided the north or the south side of the building a few years back. We stripped it, spray foamed it, and put steel siding on. The building doesn't have much for insulation in it. It's hollow block with that poured in little fiberglass and stuff, probably all settled out. And we've actually noticed in that north bay with that ceiling leaking and the cracks in the block and what have you, that that bay is lined in steel and has batt insulation up in it, faced, you know, paper faced, and we can see the tar or whatever they put on that paper to hold against that insulation. That's actually starting to run down the wall and come through the steel. So we don't know what that insulation looks like behind there. It's getting saturated. You know, the only way we know is pull some steel off and look at it, but we need to just get that if we get it spray foamed and some siding on, we're gonna eliminate that, a lot of that moisture coming through that block. Down the line, we always keep up on our equipment. So our equipment bus, which is an old school bus, got a lot of miles on it, getting kind of rusty. The steps, we got to do a little work on that before somebody falls through that, but just upgrade that at some point in time. The last couple buses we bought, the department has done themselves, where we put our own cabinets in, did all the work that we could do ourselves. So I know Terry's told me a couple times about some buses that have come up, kind of keep an eye on them. Even if we can buy one at the right time when we're not ready for it, we can buy one at the right price, we can snatch it up and at least be thinking about moving forward with that.
He's looking for a stub nose, so.
Yeah, we'd like a stub nose just for the, we only have so much length in our building to work with. And we need the space inside the bus, so the stub nose bus is kind of what we're after. We can get into driveways, farm lanes, things like that a lot easier with it. And it's just like I said, the capacity inside.
Is there any place on any websites or anything that you can?
We can kind of keep an eye, we kind of watch the schools, you know, see something come in the paper, you know, look for a school that's getting rid of a bus, but, you know, you gotta be careful with some of these things that are rusted out is worse than the one we got, or whatever, you know.
Well, that's,
Up and down gravel roads and salty highways, you know, I don't even, you know, I have no idea what schools pay for a new bus.
105.
You know, what would happen sometime down the road if we just bought a bus with no seats in it and no windows in it, you know, on the sides? Could we buy one right and do it ourselves? Something maybe we should look at somewhere down the line. Maybe it's feasible, maybe it's not. We rely on our buses, very important to us, because all of our equipment's on, all of our bunker gear. If when we have a fire call, if I'm at my shop and it's east of town, there's no sense in me driving to town, grab my gear and run it back. I can go to the call, situate, you know, assess the situation going on, you know, and let the guys know what's coming. And anybody coming from work can show up to the scene and their gear's there, so. Running back to the station's not the answer. We got our jaws in there, we got air packs on there, rescue ropes, saws, drills. Then we got a lot of equipment on that bus, so we need it to show up.
With them buses, if you was thinking about doing that, is get a hold of Phil House and the bus supervisor.
Yeah,
And he probably would know how to get a hold, you know, if there's even something like that.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's not even possible for it to do, but I think you could probably save a lot of money in that bus if you weren't buying a bunch of seats you were gonna tear
I
out.
would think so, because
Yeah.
Either Bluebird or Thomas is
Yeah.
who they've been getting them.
Yeah.
International's a good bus. So
Yeah.
I've been thinking about buying more internationals.
Yeah. So it's something to maybe keep in the back of our minds. I mean, we don't have to do it today or tomorrow or nothing like that. It's just, I just want everybody to know that sometime down the road, we need to be looking forward to that.
You know, last time we did it, it took you guys about 2 or 3 years to find one that worked.
Yeah, it took us a while to find one. Yeah. You know, we hunted all over for it, and you know, just to find that something that's ideal, fits our needs. You know, then you gotta go in and cut compartments in the side, because we keep our jaws and stuff on that bus. And we got that cabinet cut into the side so we can open up some doors. There's a generator in there, spotlights. You know, when we come to a car wreck in the middle of the night, right, we can't have enough light.
And another thing too, perfect places, Torrance,
Yeah,
to talk to him.
oh yeah,
about that,
and I would talk to Mike about different things, you know, cause with, like our last bus, they did help us
You
put
bet.
scene lights on. Donnie Phillips helped us build the cabinet in the side, you know, we did everything local.
Don't you have to have sleeping quarters for Cooley, because I don't
TC
know
needs a
how- I don't know
nap.
how the hell he gets there so fast.
Yeah. He sleeps in his clothes, yeah, I don't know how he gets there so fast either, but,
I thought I was fast the other night, the truck was going past me as I was coming down the road,
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
yeah, you gotta be on your toes, beat some of them guys. We haven't bought boots in a long time. And I looked up boots and I was floored to see how much boots cost. We have rubber boots now, and I'm here to tell you guys, if you wore them, John would know, they are the most uncomfortable thing in the world to put on your feet. Steel shanks, rubber, you know, they're not very comfortable. There's some better boots out there today, you know, some of them are leather, they're supposed to be better for you. I know I come back from motorboat that night, I could hardly walk when I got home, you know, just standing around those things, but some of our boots yet are still from our old hip boots that are cut off tops, okay? Hip boots were boots that were worn before bunker pants were invented. So some of them are pretty dang old. So I looked at boots, an average boot's about $300. So 25 pairs. You can spend close to $700. We're not doing that. But just an average boot, just to give you an idea, is about $300 a pair.
Yeah.
So, like I said, some of our boots are probably 30 plus, maybe pushing 40 years.
So you think about putting them in a rotation and start that?
Yeah, we just need to start buying some boots, you know, and getting them replaced. You know, the thing about a boot is about like bunker gear. You're on the fire department today, Whitey, next month you quit, you got a size 15 shoe, and who's gonna wear that? So you gotta buy the new guy a pair of 9s or whatever. So it's one of those things that get rotated in and out, anyhow, but when we do it, maybe we can get deal on 25 pairs versus 10, price, I don't know, there's always sales and different things going on we keep an eye on, but some of those boots are shot and need to be updated, and however we wanna do it, if we wanna buy them at one time, or if we wanna split it up, 10 pairs this year, 10, 5, or 12, however we wanna do it, but.
Well, see how you can negotiate.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's always, it's just like when we bought our last air packs.
Yeah,
I bought 6, but I got the 10 purchase price, which saved us $1,000 a bottle, getting that deal, okay? So when we bought we ended up buying, when we bought those 6 air packs, I got 6 bottles for free, which are $1,000 a piece. I got it at the 10 rate.
well, that's what I'm saying, don't be afraid to get them all, then get them all. Especially
Yeah, I'll get
if
some
you-
prices and come to you guys and keep an eye. Well, I mean, it's not another thing we don't have to do tomorrow, but if there's a sale comes up, somebody's got a deal going on, take a look at it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Browns and Sherrill, we got shoe store.
yeah,
Sure.
if it doesn't say NFPA on there,
Are they the Velcro, ones, or are they?
Velcro, yeah, that's what you need.
I'm not sure what NFPA, I know what
Nursing
NFPA,
home, right, to get them around.
I know what NFPA means, but I think there's in there, it says something about tack another $100 on whatever you're buying, I don't know. So, you guys got any questions on any of that stuff? I'm glad to answer them.
Get it done.
Just that so if you flip to the next page, you can see the insurance cost. You just broke that out as far as what the different types of insurance cost us, and then how much to insure each one of our vehicles. And then the bottom of that page is the fire department capital fund. So what we do at the end of each fiscal year is that if they have an unspent balance from their budgeted amount, we take that unspent balance and put it into this capital fund. So you see last year was about $10,000 that was put in to this capital fund, so the balance in there now, $14,904.
And if, I don't know if there's any new people on, maybe it's trustees or council people, but I think you guys have all been around a couple of years already, so. But if there's any new trustees that got questions on that, money that we don't spend, we do put it in that capital fund. And when we bought this last fire truck, we had about enough money in there to buy the chassis. So that money that was borrowed for that fire truck purchase, we didn't have to borrow the money for the chassis. There would have been considerably more money that we would have had to finance. So it's going to a good cause in the end.
Yeah, very good. The next page there is the vehicle and equipment inventory. Anything on that there, Chief?
No, other than, like I said, the bus, and then we start looking towards that. Everything else, pretty good shape. Coats and pants we purchased, in that 2014 range. Like I said, that is a 10-year lifespan. Not my rules, it's NFPA rules. Helmets, good shape on those. All of our stuff, we've rotated out these air packs. Like I said, we got our last 4 in. We budgeted 2 of those out of last year's budget and 2 of those out of donation money. So we're in good shape on those. I'm not gonna buy any more. I don't have enough guys to wear them, so we got enough. And then we're keeping all of our good stuff. That stuff that's still good yet is still there for backup. But each one of those packs has a spare bottle. We've doubled our capacity as far as air in them bottles for work time when you're in a fire call. And then we've upgraded our compressor cascade system. That was done through donation money also. So, but the only thing I'm looking to do probably right now is, and some of that may come from donations, is I need some nozzles and stuff like that. I got some guys looking at that, bringing them in so we can, check them out. But if you guys aren't aware what an 1.5-inch fire nozzle costs, $600 or $700. So the crazy numbers. Yeah. The garden hose nozzle for $700. No, but that's So, we're looking to, if we get, depending on our donation money, and, you know, purchase them that way possibly too, so. We're, very pleased with the donation money we got, cause it's, saves everybody raising this budget. You know, we wouldn't be getting this equipment we have unless we had to jack the budget up to make it happen, if it wasn't for those people donating money to our department. And that money all goes towards equipment purchases, it's not wasted for anything else, not doing vehicle maintenance or nothing, it's buying equipment, so. We bought some pretty nice stuff over the years.
Good deal.
Just in the rest of the packet, the last 3 pages of the packet is just every expense that has been paid for the fire department from the city budget for the past fiscal year, and then all of the expenses year to date, so just line item expenses.
Like I said, there'll be a couple things on here coming on that Twines bill that we don't have a bill for yet, but I don't anticipate it being super high, but.
All right, any questions?
Tammy, Vicky, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
Nope, I'm good.
And we'll see how things go if we have our soup supper this year.
Yeah.
See if anybody shows up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we can have it, hopefully we can have it, because it's a good deal, we had a good crowd last year.
Oh, you bet.
That's all we have?
That is it.
Before we go, Jim, I appreciate the fire department, your job, and the guys you got with the, it's been a long time since I got a complaint, somebody driving too fast to the fire station.
Well, we've had this discussion a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep, it
The house
happens.
wasn't on fire at that time either.
What's that?
The people who complained their house wasn't on fire.
Yeah, if your house is not on fire, you might complain if it's your, you can't get there fast enough, but I've told everybody before, we've had this discussion once or twice a year. It doesn't do any good if you don't get there safe, and don't run anybody over on the way, so, it's hard to get, their adrenaline gets going, it's hard to slow them down a little bit sometimes, but, yeah, we got a good department, can't complain about anybody. You know, we got some guys that put way more effort into than others, but if you've been in any organization, it's all the same.
Yeah,
Yep, they do a good job. Everybody
Thank you.
appreciates that.
yeah, no doubt.
I'll pass it along.
Please do. One more minute,
Thank you, Jim.
no,
Yep.
she had something? We have a motion to
So I
adjourn?
just said thank you.
Oh, there you
Yep,
go.
thank you.
So, motion to adjourn,
I'll make that motion.
second? Meeting adjourned.
I know you were. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. All right.
All right. What are you doing?